Anyway, welcome back to the kitchen. You are here once again with Team Mad Rational on the kitchen. This week we're doing some talking about the new movie that came out, Black Panther. We all went to see it opening night, and it was crazy. It was crazy. You know, and I'm getting ahead of myself talking about Black Panther because I'm just excited about talking about this. You know, let me tell you guys who you're talking to or talking with right now, right? I'm here with my partner, Art, aka Author Yves, and I'm Brandon, aka Twitch for Life. And this is Lance, aka MrBroadcast. And we had some fun at the theater, man. We saw some people out there bringing their families, bringing their friends, you know what I mean? There was barbecuing happening. Dashikis everywhere. It was a great time. It was good to see everybody out there in a positive manner, no nonsense happening. And you know, people are just enjoying, you know, a great story, a great movie, you know what I mean? This week we're talking about the artist Raury. I hope I'm saying that name right. I seem to be butchering names weekly. But no. This artist sent us one of the tracks. You know, we took a listen to the track. We're gonna let you guys listen to the track too. So why don't we get this started? All right.
It's like I'm lost at sea, auctioning off my sanity, damaging my relationship. Sorry, I missed your call, it seems. I'm not the boy I was yesterday, that's the worst that they claim I changed. So they change on me, kinda rich, but it rains on me some days. But money means nothing, but we're convinced that it does, because we're clubbing, cousins screaming, it's all about the money. And brothers busting each other with guns, they love it, push it to radio, feeding it to mind of the public. Dozens and dozens of poison rush over flooding. Sound is more like a drug and affecting the brain like Robitussin. I am the medicine, predecessors benevolent, guess they really believe in me. Pressure is up the element, but no, not stressing. Been chilling, getting my rest. I got skeletons in my closet, caressing a treasure chest. I've been touring and moving and shaking, free money making, heartbreaking around the world, because what is given is what is taken. So that was Odyssey by Raury, and you know what, we gonna tackle this strategically. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna say this about the track. I think I understand the concept of the track, right? I think I get it. You know, a lot of like Andre 3000 swag on the track happening. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I don't want this to seem like extra negative or anything, because it's not an extra negative dig. It's just a matter of fact type of statement. It's a treadmill track, and what I mean by that is you always feeling like you're about to go somewhere, but you never get there. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that like the lyrics in the track are dope, and really I want MrBroadcast to talk more about the lyrics and what he heard in the track. You know what I'm saying? I like the metaphors and everything, you know, and I'll kind of leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the poet of the group, but the one thing that I felt was the guitar loop, right? The guitar loop in the track is a great riff in the track. However, if you're gonna use a riff like that simulates traveling, right? Like traveling down a dirt road, you know, old country backwoods, please take us there. Right? Please take us there. Don't keep us traveling for 3 minutes on that dirt road. Like let's get to where we're trying to get, you know what I mean? You know, really, I think on that level you have to be more than a rapper, more than a songwriter. You have to be a producer, right? And I mean, I'm talking like producers like Clive Davis, Quincy Jones, L.A. Reid. You know what I mean? People that hear a track like that and it's like, okay, I see where it's about to go. Let me show you how we get there, right? You know, you bring in your drums, you bring in your vocals, you bring in, you know, whatever, you know, other stringed instruments, horn, whatever it takes, piano,
to bring us full front, even if it's the third verse. And that's why I listened to the whole track to see if we were ever going to get there. Because if we went 2 verses traveling down a dirt road, right, and then we got to the place we were trying to get on the verse 3, I'd have been like, mwah, you know what I'm saying? However, I didn't get there. While, like I said, the content inside of the track was real dope, I really wanted to be taken there. And then at the end of the track, the lyrics at the end, I felt like, dang, this is gonna sound real bad, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I have no other way to say it. I just, please, this is a critique meant to make you, not just this artist, but other artists out there that are producing their own tracks and everything. This is meant to make you better. But I felt like it was the end of the Blair Witch Project, where it was like the credits just kind of rolled. You know what I'm saying? And there was no real end to the movie. And I felt like it was a cheap escape to repeat the same thing over and over, especially with the profanity there. And I felt like we could have ended it better with a better, an actual message rather than just that piece, or even bring the production in with an actual echo and things like that. We really have it mixed by that way. So, like I said, it's not meant to be like a negative jab, anything like that. This is a production note. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just that my way to describe that. Anyway, I know you kind of feeling.
Well, before you get into the lyrical aspect of it, like listening for myself as I was listening to it, it seems to me as though Raury is more of a spoken word artist and not a rapper, not a hip hop.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it would make sense with the very obviously looped instrumental in the background, and then the way that it was kind of put out there in a line. There was very little inflection, except for at one point he was trying to make a statement, I think, and it seemed really awkward. Yeah. And then the rhythm of his words, the cadence wasn't even for a spoken word artist. I wish there was something. Yeah. Something other than just like when you said treadmill, it sounded, I mean, to me, I could envision like a literal treadmill with like words on it coming at you in a very direct pattern. Right. Very direct.
Like you're watching like Guitar Hero, and instead of the buttons, it's words on the screen.
Just hitting the.
Yeah. I'll say this just as an add-on to what you were saying about the vocal timbre, right? You know what I'm saying? To transition from spoken word artist to rapper, you really do have to develop a voice, right? And you have to get into that vocal mode, right? And I watched one of the guys I grew up with, Playboy B, out of New Orleans, and I was there while he was creating that sound, that voice, that essence of his rap. You know what I mean? It's more than just, hey, I'm about to get on the mic and I'm about to rap. Like, you have to get into a whole nother mode, a whole nother vocal timbre. You have to become the artist inside of the booth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna rap in this voice. You know what I mean? But if I'm gonna rap, I'm gonna bring it down like this. You know what I'm saying? And like, you have to create whatever persona you're trying to create behind that mic. Because remember, it is an art. That's why you're an artist, right?
That's a great transition to where I was going to start my statement. And it does boil down to his lyrical motive. And inside that lyrical motive, he has to set that tone. And so your analogy is perfect with the treadmill. Verse 1 and 2 had a very, very specific lyrical motive where he had internal rhymes and multi-syllable rhymes. And what I mean by that, again, because I can't study the track, so I'm going to just create a scenario of it where he's hunting, button, stunting in the mix, flowing, going, showing till it fix. That was the pattern throughout the whole thing, where he had rhymes inside of each bar and then finished with a bar. But what he also did, that I thought was very well was on that treadmill, and this is where it was done well, but he didn't take us anywhere. He kept a steady pace of a 6-minute mile, but he knew how to do that in between each lap. He could slow it down and speed it up, but when you average both verses together, they were both 6-minute miles. Now, with saying that, he had all the correct tools, but there's a difference between movement and progress. I can run in place all day.
Yeah.
But where are you trying to take us? Which goes back to his motive. So when we got to verse 3, where he steps out of context, he's broken his initial pattern, all right, which is fine if you're taking us somewhere, because by breaking that pattern, that means we're getting into another set of movement. But and again, I'm trying to give positive criticism. You know, I like the flow, but I definitely think that was his moment where we all agree he has a spoken word essence to him. When he changed that pace could have been slowed down to, instead of doing a full-on repeat of those words, he had that whole moment to give us his true spoken word voice. Right. And I think if he takes that and goes back at this point, again, you know, just looking at the song, I think that's something he can go back and do and make it a whole new song, a fresh song.
Yeah, for sure.
And it would be just as enjoyable as if it came out for the first time, because it's definitely something that's part of who he is that will make it better. Right. You know, again, I'm not saying that it stunk. I'm not calling it trash. I know we haven't got the treasure trophy yet, but I'm talking about the essence of just the rhymes right now. I'm not his content is very nice. His motive needs to just be more direct and clear on the path he's taking it. Even if it's I'm bringing you from front to back, you know, in a 400-meter relay, that's fine. Or I'm taking you on a cross-country run along the lakefront. But we need to know where we're going, and you need to get us to an end. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with all of that wholeheartedly. You know, this track. You know, I'm glad we did this. We did this track. You know, today, because, you know, that's one thing I wanted to get back to on, you know, the cut of the week is really taking, you know, something real fresh like this, that's, you know, it's raw and riddled with you know, mistakes and amateurism, you know what I mean? Because I applaud you for throwing this in the inbox and allowing us to share your art and talk about your art here on The Kitchen. You know, thank you very much for allowing us to do this. You know, we appreciate having it. And, you know, most of the feedback we get from artists, they appreciate listening, you know, to us, you know, talk about their music here on The Kitchen. So everything we say is always positive criticism. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to use that same mode in which you gave us your art to also communicate back with us in any way we can help. We will do so. We're here, you know what I mean, for those artists, for you. You know, with that said, I think, you know, we do a nice healthy vote on this one, you know, getting back to the core and the essence of the cut of the week here on The Kitchen, right? So, you know, we're going to do what we do every week, right? So we talked about a track, right? We discussed all elements of the track, and now we're going to vote on that track, right? Trash or trophy, right? So like we'd always do, we're going to start with you, Mr. Art. What do you give this one?
From the point of view, if this is like a hip-hop track, gotta be honest, it's trash. Now, if we're looking at this from the spoken word aspect, it's a trophy, because what he's saying is powerful. He's talking about his struggles in the industry. I assume the hip hop industry, the music industry, and yeah, there's some very powerful. There's a very powerful message that he's putting out there. Again, even in the spoken word aspect, it could be more rhythmically interesting, just to keep your listener from falling asleep. But other than that, I mean, what's being said is powerful, and the production behind it is beautiful. So
okay, so overall, you know, I know you said this in the beginning, but I want to end on it. Mm-hmm. So overall, you know, we're gonna judging it for what it was presented as, right? What's the vote on it for what it was ended as, so we can sum it all up?
For today, it's trash.
Fair enough. MrBroadcast, you know, like we said, you know, judging this overall, you know, for what it is, you know, plus other opinions, what do you give this one?
Man, I have to say, like, this was hard, but I agree with Art. You know, he has something special that can be done with this track. And like in my comments, I think if he goes back, he adjusts a few things with it, that can take it to a whole nother level. And so right now, I'm giving it trash, not purely on the set, because I don't like it. I'm giving trash because I know what it can be.
Right.
I see the ability for it to excel to this level.
Right. So
for me, that's why I trash, because I don't think it's where it can really be.
Yeah, for sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll say this. Our first episode of the Cut of the Week, we talked about Jaden Smith's Icon, right? And we overall gave that song a trash vote, right? That song is now on my playlist. And you know, it is hit. What's the number on that? How many streams does it have? Over 100,000, 100 million. I think that's it. It's a lot, right, on that. And so, not saying that a trash vote is necessarily bad. It's just there's things that could be better, right? And so what I'll say as far as my vote goes is I'm not talking from the side of the music that Art and MrBroadcast are talking from, because that's not my area of expertise. My area includes the music itself and the sound quality. And, you know, like I said, I did have the treadmill feeling, right? I think what we have to think about when we hear a track like this is, you know, I think about energy and the two types of energy there is in the universe, right? There's potential energy and there's kinetic energy, right? And I think this track gave us a lot of potential energy, right? It was a lot of a rock sitting on top of a hill, and it just needs a little push to get that kinetic energy, to get the ball moving, to get it rolling. You know what I'm saying? So for now, the vote on the track is trash. Hook that thing up and send it back to us, because I love what you're saying and I love how you sound. You know what I mean? Just clean that thing up, because there's a dope track in there. You know what I'm saying? For sure, there's a dope track in there. But man, this week on opening night, we got to see one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen. Man, Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, head-to-head combat. Who's gonna win? I'm gonna let you guys know now. This part of the podcast is not for the people who haven't seen the movie. So if this is where you stop because you haven't seen the movie, thank you for watching. It's been dope hanging with you. Now for you brothers and sisters who have seen the movie, let's talk about this Joker, because this thing was crazy. This movie was one of those movies where I've already planned to see it 2 more times. Right? I really have. And it was, outside of the movie itself, the togetherness that came from this movie, where I can randomly sit down and talk to somebody and be like, have you seen that Black Panther? And we have a whole conversation about life and culture just from that one question. That's amazing. That's amazing to happen from a piece of media, from a movie. You know what I mean? Like that's wild, you know? And we need that. We need that all the time. And I think we forget about the true responsibility of entertainment to bring people together, you know. And I think this movie, you know, it does that for so many reasons. It has done that. And man, I tell you what, there's so many parts in this movie where I was like, I can't believe they did that, and it worked. It was awesome, you know. From the what are those, you know, to the don't scare me colonizer, you know, like wow, they did that. To you know, now from now on, if I'm on a team of people and something pop off, I'm gonna look at the person to the left of me and to the right of me, show them who we are.
All right.
For real, you know, like that's so dope. That's so fire. But I think this discussion, I'm gonna let Mr. Broadcast start this one off, because I've been waiting to hear what he has to say about this. Because okay, so just so you guys know, right, we haven't got together and talked about this movie until now, right? This has not been a pre-discussion outside of like 7 text messages that we've shared back and forth as a group. So this is like the first time we get to talk about it and be excited about it. Cool.
And a couple phone calls, but.
Did we have a phone call?
We had a phone call.
These jokers. These jokers. Anyway, Mr. Broadcast. All right.
$192 million in 3 days.
Is that the total?
387 million globally by tomorrow morning. 3 movies have topped that. Star Wars, The Last Jedi.
Number 4.
Star Wars, The Force Awakens.
I'll say all Star Wars movies, weren't they?
And Jurassic World. The only 3 movies to top that ever.
So this is the first superhero movie. Word.
Top February movie ever.
Man, that's wild.
Right. I just need that to sit in for a minute. Ever. All right. Black, white, Asian, whatever you want to say. Ever.
Jeez.
All right.
That's a topper. So number 4 of all time.
Number 4
of all time. That's all pretty big. That's pretty big.
And comparatively, when did the other movies come out?
In the last 4 years. So even at inflation, it's still kicking ass.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like those other movies, like I know this Star Wars came out for
in the last 3 years. Yeah.
I know it came out for
The Force
Christmas.
Awakens? Yeah.
And so you had the Christmas crowd.
Right. So that was a crowd of people.
Saying, like,
that was a crowd of people that
Jurassic
always
World.
are at the movies.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that crowd is guaranteed if you drop it during Christmas, is what
Right.
he's saying.
The 2 Star Wars movies were both Christmas. Jurassic World was the summer. So
wow. So we had a February
in school.
Yes, competing with Christmas. That's big. I didn't think about that. That was a great catch. That was a great catch. Wow.
In comparison, if we're talking about predominantly black cast, the second movie is Straight Outta Compton at 214 million, and that's its total entire run worldwide.
And so we beat it.
Yes, in the first 4 days.
Wow.
Right. So,
and I'd also like to point out, in a movie this big with an all black cast, where the cast wasn't playing any roles that have inherently negative connotations. And I feel like that's not stated enough when you look, you know what I mean? Like it's not stated. And I know Straight Outta Compton is not a movie about negative stuff, right? But let's be real. Those were guys doing some not so good things,
right? That
turned into changing a culture. I get it. But
to be fair, Michael B. Jordan did play, even though he was one of the more badass characters in the movie, he did play an inherently bad position.
I was meaning like the majority cast, yeah, and the overall. But you know what? Let's talk about that for like 2 seconds, if you will, right? Because like Michael B. Jordan's character is one of those villains that you can be like, oh man, I get it.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. Like I totally was there with him. I was like, I don't know if I'd have killed that many people, but like
I don't believe in his mission, but I believe that he believed his mission was worthy.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, I think that's one of the things that make the Marvel movies so good, is because the villains are relatable. And I think a good, you know, if you're talking about, you know, protagonist antagonist movie, I think the quality of the movie is driven by the mission of the antagonist, honestly. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have a good villain, right? If you don't have a good villain, a quality villain, yeah, you know, I like saying good villain though, it's nice little, but you know, if you don't have a quality villain per se, then the hero is always going to be the hero, and the hero is going to do heroic stuff, right? But when the villain does something heroic or has a heroic cause, that throws a monkey wrench in the, you know, bad versus good moral comparison that we have, you know, internally. And you know, inside of this movie, Michael B. Jordan's character is struggling with Wakanda only tending to those people, and not the other people that look like them that are scattered throughout the world and feel like nobody's there to have their back. And then these guys are sitting here that look like him and have the means to make a difference. They have the means to throw off the balance of power, you know, that was there. You know, you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at that you know, that mission, you know. And the first thing he does when he sits on the throne, you know, when you think about it, yeah, like you don't want to like him, but think about the first move he made. When he sits down on that throne, the first thing he did is he said, "Well, send weapons to my people so they can get out of the struggle." Right? Well, you know, that's not the best way to get out of the struggle, but the first thing he did was do something outside himself. The first move he made was something altruistic that didn't further any personal, it didn't have any personal gain for him. It only had gain for those people. Yeah, I think that's something great that was written into that movie. Was that first move. His first move as king was an altruistic move. Man, that's crazy from a villain.
Well, I think that's what plays into the movie so well, is the two keys of the moral standpoints from the hero to the villain and where they stand, and their truth in the narrative behind their morality.
Right.
And on one end, you have Eric Killmonger, who not only is seeing the hurt by these other folks, you know, these other people who look like him around the world.
Yeah.
But he has personally felt the abandonment from Wakanda.
Yeah.
Right. So it's even deeper for him.
Right.
Because it's not him just saying, "Oh, we need to go help these people," and he's there looking from afar. No, I'm in it. Like I am the people who I'm saying need to go help people.
Right.
And you abandoned me too.
Right. And then a step further, like he's a blood descendant of that throne.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I am the people who should be helping folks, but I was abandoned.
Right. Because
of my father trying to help those people. So what does that really mean for me? Right. And then you have T'Challa on the other end, I'm trying to find and channel the ways of the old because that's what I know to be the best king I can be, to only find out a lot of it is a lie. Right. And a lot of it is just shadow hiding. Right. Not wanting to come out and help.
Well, the ways of the old created the problems of the new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he was on. I think that was one of the main struggles throughout the movie, was that he was on the fence. He knew. I mean, it was a big.
The overall arching theme of the movie.
One of the themes within the movie is that idea of globalization versus nationalization, which is what the U.S. and the UK and a few countries are having issues with right now.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, that question was like the old way of doing things was a very nationalistic way of doing things. Can
you make that a more simple point besides like globalization versus nationalization?
Yeah. Well, like open. So a globalized society is a society like the U.S. was under Obama's presidency. It was very, trading, open borders, trading internationally.
Right. The spread, arms are reaching out everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. The spread of culture and the acceptance of culture and things of that nature.
Right.
Whereas the opposite is very, for an example, it's very like China, where they limit the amount of culture coming in. Right. They limit things coming in. They limit the things coming out. I mean, we are focused on our people first and then the rest of the world. Whereas the U.S. was focused on the people of the world. Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of what, for example, the U.S. now has. We now have Trump as our president, who touts a very closed border. I mean, he wants to build a damn wall. That is, by definition, nationalism. It is, we support the people of our country first, and then everybody else gets what's left.
Right.
And that was kind of the idea of Wakanda. They were not sharing their technology. They were not sharing their knowledge. They were not sharing their vibranium.
Yeah.
So they weren't helping the world. They were just, staying within there. And I know one of the themes that weren't touched, and I only got this because of the video you shared, I think the week before we went to go see it, was that the Wakandans were waiting for the rest of the world to catch up to where they were spiritually, because they were way too focused. The rest of the world was way too focused on capital and making money and greed and things of that nature, whereas the Wakandans are very spiritual country, and so they were waiting for the rest of the world to get to that point. Right. And I think this was one of the theme of this movie. One of the main themes of this movie was that idea of, should we wait for the rest of the world to catch up to us, or should we do our part to help them catch up to us?
Right. I think a cool way to look at it is, like you said, do we wait for the rest of the world to catch up to us, or do we realize that we are part of the world and we're responsible for the rest of the world's advancement? And it's like, do you hold on to that knowledge?
So there isn't a right answer. That's kind of the way of.
You have to find a balance. You have to find your own personal balance.
Exactly.
And I think that was the overall arching theme of the movie, is finding your own internal balance with yourself, and how do you be that productive person you want to be to the world, regardless of race, nationality, gender, things like that. Right. And though everybody has their own views that are considered right and wrong, it's what's true to your narrative, and how does it morally affect you, and what does that do to other people. That's the overall arching theme of the movie, and that's why you had so far left, so far right. And in between, because of this far left and far right, you had folks that were sliding back and forth, side to side. You had folks that can intertwine and cause conflict amongst not just, tribal stuff, but directly into family members who can, get through it. And that caused rifts indirectly between family members who had nothing to do with it before, because they're now trying to find their new purpose. Yeah. And it goes back to, again, each person's own individual narrative, because there's certain parts in the movie, and I know we're doing spoilers, but I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but there's obviously parts where people are saying I stand for family, but for me to stand for family, that means standing for the whole country. I can't individualize people, because the country is my family. So whereas some people say, no, I follow this person because that's what's important.
Well, so I think that was also, not to give it away, but I think that was that character's point
this
was
is the spoiler section. We give it away.
Right.
We give it away. This is the spoiler section. They didn't got the warning already. They didn't got the warning. Let's go.
So that character's point was, in following this person and helping this person, we are saving the country. So I think that was the quote was, you either follow the country. What is it? If you're for the country, you follow the country. She's like, no, I'm for the country and I'm saving my country. Yeah. And that was like, the two different ways of seeing it. I mean, they were both right, but
again, it's their each of their narrative, and it's how they see where they stand in that narrative to what's right.
Right. I think one of the coolest points that we've touched on is the fact that you really do truly have to let go of the idea of having the right answer. It's really about asking the right question in order to pose the right conversation. And I think the essence of that theme is truly what this show is about. Right? We are about asking the right questions in order to have the right conversation, so that conversation happens. Right? We don't all have to agree and we don't have to figure it out, but we talk about it, you know? And that movie sparked conversations about it, you know?
Damn, this got heavy.
You know, that movie, it sparked real conversation about, you know, for some people, elephants in the room. You know, they were walking on glass when they had the gorilla tribe, the monkey tribe. I feel like somebody could get triggered by that. Yeah. Except for the way that they did it was so. No, I'm joking. We're vegetarians. Yes. He was my favorite character in the movie. Yeah. I can see it. I can see why.
Like the comedic relief character that was done very well.
Yes. And he had what's his name, Agent Ross. He had Agent Ross confused, way confused. He didn't know what to do. Exactly. It was amazing. It was amazing. He got punked a couple times. Yeah. You know, I mean, they called him all kinds of names. Colonizer. They told him they were gonna feed him to his children. Like,
I'm so glad this wasn't like it was another like theme in the movie was that idea of Africans and blacks as a race versus the non-racial element. Like, this isn't a race thing. This is it's a culture thing. This is a people of the world thing. Yeah. This, like, just because we have the same skin color does not make us the same people. It doesn't mean we're not there to help you. But it's not. This isn't. We're not fighting, like, for example, we're not the black people fighting all the whiteys. We're not the white people fighting all the blackies. It was. I don't know. For example, they had the one of the big things I noticed, which was amazing, was that they had 5 tribes, one country, 5 tribes. Most Americans don't realize that. For example, my father comes from Ghana, and so we are seen as Ghanaians, but that's not how Africa works. Africa works in a tribal way. For example, we're Akan, we're Ashanti, which is Akan's under like a sub-tribe of Ashanti. That is who we are. We are Ashanti. I don't know, these tribes in this movie were, I mean, you had the Nigerian tribe, right? The warrior women with the bald heads. That was very Nigerian. You had the Ethiopians with the disc on their lips. Dope. You had sub-Saharan.
I'm learning so much right now.
So the different tribes were very much like actual tribes around the Africa. Yeah, I loved it.
So well done. It gets a well done vote.
Oh yeah, literally the only issue I have with the entire movie. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, and you're not wrong.
is that they had the opportunity to have more African music, to introduce African music to viewers all around the world, and instead Kendrick Lamar put out a mixtape.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to say more than Kendrick Lamar put out a mixtape. Kendrick Lamar put out a soundtrack, sir.
Yeah.
He put out a soundtrack. Sir.
It was. I mean, the music was beautiful and it fit perfectly.
Yes,
I have no issues with his music.
You're not wrong about the opportunity that was squandered. There was
very little. So there is so much African hip hop that could have been put there that wasn't.
Right. And there's African dancing and stuff. And I think, okay, look, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this to the camera, put this in the video. But while I'm saying this right now, I want you to put the little video of the little dudes dancing to the African music. You ever seen the video on YouTube? It's wild, right? It's wild. Because these dudes are getting it. And I'm like, I want to learn every single one of those dances because it's fire. You know what I mean? And they are getting it. I'm like, yes, let's get it, right? I'm gonna show you the video and you put it right.
Okay.
All right. Man, the movie was great.
Yeah.
The movie was amazing. I can't wait to see this thing again.
Yo, the fashion in it.
The fashion was fire, man. I learned a lot in this movie. I'm not gonna even front. I learned a whole lot about a whole lot of things in this movie, and I'll tell you what, it makes you proud to be proud. That makes sense. It gives you a sense of confirmation about your pride. You know, about what you're proud of, what you're proud to be, and what you might not be. You know, and I think people of all races, creeds, religions, and colors can stand together and be like, this was done so well, and it set so many precedents about the movie industry. And I'm just gonna say this, that the next time we have a movie about the gods of Egypt, that we actually have some Egyptians in the movie. Okay, like, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? You don't make African movies without black people. You don't make Egyptian movies without Egyptians. You know, I mean, I know what I just said. Okay, I said you don't make African movies without black people. I understand there's white people in Africa too.
I meant, why the hell does Killmonger have to die though? Like, my heart hurt so bad because he was such a good bad guy. I wanted to see more of him
because he still has to be the Human Torch. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
You went there.
Oh, you went there. Wow. Are they gonna do a new Fantastic Four movie?
Okay. So here's two things. I'm about to roll off of that for you. One, speaking of when he played the Human Torch, did you know Sony stupidly passed off of having Black Panther, Iron Man, and Thor, and all they took was Spider-Man? When Marvel was trying to give them three to get percentages of it instead of taking all of Spider-Man, and I think, no, we just want Spider-Man.
That was a bad move.
Right.
Well, actually, no, it was a good move because it turned out the way it did.
It wouldn't have. But I mean, turned out to be garbage.
Yeah, it was a good move for the benefit of us. But
right.
I'm sure Sony's kicking themselves in the ass. All right. Two, just so you know, there's a possibility Killmonger come back because in the comic books he has been resurrected by his followers who went into hiding after this battle right here in the comic books. They go into hiding, they get his body, and they resurrect him. He does come back.
I need it to happen because he played an amazing villain. He played the villain I think we're gonna get in the next Doctor Strange movie. You know what I'm saying? The next Doctor Strange movie we're Mordo, the dude who plays Mordo, I can't remember his name. That dude is an amazing actor.
Very, very good.
Yeah. And he's going to give us a great villain. I know he is. And I would say this to answer your question about Fantastic Four. I don't know who's watching this, but I'm just going to say, you know what? Mad Rational 2018 right here on this idea. Instead of giving us a Fantastic Four movie, Give us a Doctor Doom movie and then just have the Fantastic Four in it, right? I'm talking like Doctor Doom, Rise of Latveria. Like I need something, right? Because Doctor Doom is an amazing villain that has a lot of different angles at which you could play the character. Stop giving us these bunk behind Fantastic Four movies. They all terrible. Give us something we can chew on, man.
I think the MCU could do the Fantastic Four well, though. Like I'm totally with you on that idea. I think if they use Doctor Doom as a way to bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU, that'd be dope. And same type of thing with the mutants. Since they're all underneath the same umbrella now, bring the mutants in.
Yes. That's something that I think a lot of people actually missed in December. It's all under one umbrella now since December 2017. Man, it's time to get this to bring it all together to make it all real nice. Because I'm tired. I'm really tired of these Fantastic Four movies that could have been great. Right? Why is Galactus a cloud?
Because I mean, there is a body. There is a Galactus.
Yes, there's a Galactus. There's a person. Put him in the movie. They did not. We have watched the MCU successfully create the most amazing franchise of movies that I think we've ever seen in our lifetime without saying the word mutants.
Yep.
I'm just saying, and y'all made a cloud. That's it for this week. I'm done. Right? Cloud people. Anyway.
It's in the cloud.
Right. What's the cloud anyway?
Galacticus is the cloud. We just told you.
Right.
Where's your folders? In Galacticus.
Right. I'm gonna need the Silver Surfer to bring me my documents, please.
Galacticus ate my homework. It's in the cloud.
It's in the cloud. Okay. Anyway, you guys, look. Thanks for watching this week. We've had a fun time talking about this with you guys. And as always, you know what? If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And you know, if you want to join into the conversation, drop some comments below. You know what I mean? We read all of the comments and we enjoy discussing that. You know, once we get a chance to read them. So, look, as always, I know sometimes we say some things that may make you feel a certain type of way. Remember, this is just a conversation. We're only here to pose questions and to get those conversations started. It's not an argument. It's not a debate. You know what? You can always join in and you can always discuss some things with us, and we can have healthy talks about how everybody feels. You know what I mean? And I think it makes it a better world to live in at the end of the day. So once again, thank you guys for joining us. This has been Mad Rational, Team Mad Rational, out for the night. Here we go. Wakanda forever. To fill a balance, I guess the yin and the yang is within us, and we can't hide it no matter how much we make it. I'm a